Today we'll be installing another Puppy Linux distro besides the one that I have mainly is Fossapup64-CE4. So this is actually my daily driver, and this is my main ISO that I use for all my work. So, but I'll show you how to go ahead and easily add another Puppy Linux so you can boot from either one. So I have to emphasize this is only applies to UEFI BIOS, but actual process is even easier with a legacy BIOS. But to understand overall my setup, I think that I opened up gparted. I have two main hard drives. One is SDA here, which is internal SSD, and I have another one which is external SSD hard drive, which has all my music, thousands of music files and photos from years ago and so on. So this contains all my essential data, but this is only the hard drive you need to install all the necessary Puppy Linux files. And so this is how I set it up, and I find this for me works the best. Make a small FAT32 partition. That's where we're gonna put in the grub, and details of exactly how to set this up. I have another video that goes through some of that. So the second partition here is where right now I only have a CE4 for Fossapup CE4, but we'll be adding Bookworm here. Bookworm is another recent Puppy Linux ISO that we'll be adding here. So we'll close that, and then SDA3 here, I have it as I put in the label of capital SAV, which I find very helpful because when we reboot into the new Puppy, it's going to look for this SAV partition to put in the save folder. Right now, within that partition, there is another small letter, a save. And within that, right now, I only have a Fossapup CE4. Okay, this is save folder, but after we booted first time into Bookworm, we save 64. Okay, so that will be the save folder that Bookworm recognizes. So that's what we will be looking at. So I think that's the overall view of how we're gonna set this up. And first thing we have to do at this point is to go ahead and fire up a FrugalPup. So FrugalPup is here, and I can just start it, but you actually on your machine you probably have it under setup. FrugalPup here is the exactly same program. So the first thing that the Fossapup wants to look at the FrugalPup is I would go to the settings first, and you have to make sure that it knows that we want a save folder in a specific location. So make sure that's clicked, otherwise it's pretty much all default. And then we're gonna actually install another Puppy. So we're gonna click on this, and then we're gonna have an ISO. So I've actually let me just bring this up. So I actually downloaded the BookwormPup64 ISO, and I'll leave it under description of where you can get this. So it's under my downloads, and we're gonna say we want to use this ISO, and we'll just drag this over here, and then we're gonna click OK. And then we want to put it under the first partition here. Okay, so we're gonna say SDA2 is where we want it, and then create the folder. So BookwormPup64, it's got a long name, but for me what's important is this latest, the ISO number of the latest, because later on the bookworm ISO may change to 0.3, for example. So we're going to create a folder within this. So we're going to click on this, and we're going to say bookworm, and then I would go ahead and put in 02. Okay, now next is you make sure you don't push on OK. What you need to do is just enter return button, enter key. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and you notice that it's created this. So we're gonna say it's okay, and define the separate Linux location. So save. So it's looking for save. So we're gonna say we want it under label of SAV, capital SAV, right here. Okay, and again we're gonna put it under that save. So we're gonna say we want there, and we also want it within there, and then we say that's where we want the save folder of bookworm to locate. So we're gonna say that that's all okay and looks all good, and then we're gonna say, and then it's gonna copy all the necessary files of the bookworm right in this folder, and we'll give it a minute. Okay, so it doesn't take long, so it's all written. Okay, now what we need to do is create a boot grub. Okay, because we're gonna have a new puppy. So we're gonna say okay. SDA2 is where the partition containing new pup Linux is. That's correct, and this is correct. CE4 and B. This is the one we just got it all configured. We're gonna say it's okay, and we want it written on SDA1. Okay. And then in my case, I just simply need a UEFI 64. This is a 64-bit machine, and it's a 64-bit ISO. So okay, and then we're gonna say we want it, and then it's written. Okay, and then we're gonna exit. So we're gonna take a quick look at this. So we're gonna take so this is the new grub, and then so it's the new grub has been named as the new puppy has been named as dpup. So we'll just make that, for me, we'll just make it a BW02, and then similarly we'll make the puppy Linux here. So we'll make that CE4, and it just makes it much easier for me to differentiate. So we'll this is 5 seconds is fine, and then everything else is fine. So we're gonna make that change, and then we're gonna close everything,